Hello, my name is Lauren Emler, and today I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about same-sex marriage culture and the traditions, customs, and beliefs that it holds. This presentation will also contain information that especially focuses on courtship, marriage, family life, dating, and so on. Starting off with family life, there are two main methods commonly used by same-sex couples when beginning to start a family. The most common would be artificial insemination of the female, which accounts for about 72.8% of same-sex families. The next would be adoption or foster care, accounting for about 21.2% of these families. A question often arises when it comes to the culture of same-sex couples is, do these partners usually force their own sexual identities on their offspring? Although many couples who identify with the LGBTQIA+ community may encourage their children to become allies, this does not necessarily mean they would force a certain gender or sexual identity on their child. Unfortunately, same-sex couples face a harsh stigma if they choose to not have kids that can be even greater than most heterosexual couples feel. This can derive from unsupportive family members, especially considering the fact that some of these family members may not have been supportive when the individual in mind came out about their sexual identity. One of the most beautiful customs when it comes to same-sex marriage culture is that stereotypical gender norms play no part in day-to-day life. While some individuals in these relationships may opt to have a more masculine or feminine role, there is no overall standard for how their relationship should be set up because this community focuses strongly on gender fluidity. Moving on to dating and courtship aspect of same-sex culture, this can look vastly different depending on the individuals involved. LGBTQIA+ individuals should be looked at no differently than heterosexual individuals, and dating can look remarkably similar. However, there are some differences to be aware of. Let's start off with lesbian dating. The only major difference between heterosexual dating and lesbian dating is that sometimes it is more difficult to tell whether a girl is a lesbian or not. In today's society, many people make assumptions when they see a member of the opposite sex, and it can be difficult to kind of have that icebreaker between the two people. Many women have reported that they were very shy and timid, full of anxiety, when they first began to look into dating another female. Being that many women are raised to be the dependent in the relationship and do the stereotypical things like get married, have kids, start a family, it can be really intimidating to break out of those gender norms and do something new. Similar to female lesbian dating, gay male dating can also arise the same fear and anxiety of breaking out and doing something new. However, this may serve to be more difficult than female same-sex dating because oftentimes it can be more difficult for a man to break out of society's gender norms and accept a more feminine side if they choose. Sadly, men are held to a strict standard that they must always be strong or manly in a sense, and are often taught from a young age that liking more female-dominant things or being more flamboyant means they are not really a man. This can cause the man to put up a guard in order to protect the person they feel as though they need to be, thus causing issues in a gay dating relationship. Moving on to the actual wedding ceremonies. This really depends on the couple who is getting married, but there are some common themes you can see in many same-sex weddings. Some lesbian couples may both opt to wear a wedding dress, where others might wear suits or vice versa. Typically, in male gay weddings, both men wear suits. However, there have been gay wedding ceremonies where the man has worn a dress. Gay and lesbian marriages can be looked at very similarly to heterosexual marriages in terms of the actual ceremony. Just because the two individuals getting married share the same gender does not by any means depict that their wedding will be any less traditional. The brides and grooms usually have a ceremony, reception, cocktail hour, etc., and there's no blanket statement. Being that gay and lesbian marriage was finally legalized back in 2015, same-sex couples are now allowed to have an official government document declaring their marriage under the law in the same way that heterosexual couples have always been allowed to have. However, this does not mean that every same-sex couple will opt for an official legalized marriage, as some prefer to display their loyalty in other ways. Divorce, while it is unfortunate, happens. In the same way as that of heterosexual couples, it is bound to happen every once in a while. Divorce is handled no differently with same-sex marriages, and sexual identity has no effect on the legal aspects of divorce. However, preconceived notions such as religion or moral notion would be up to the individual. Overall, the culture of same-sex couples in regard to courtship, marriage, and family life is such a beautiful thing. This culture centers around breaking society's harsh gender norms and allows individuals to truly and unapologetically be themselves and love who they love without any regard to judgment or disapproval.